questions. To take a little to what we were discussing with Professor Muni yesterday, 2 points which they would be interested in because I have a vague idea about the kind of nature of interest of our colleagues here. One is, do you perceive an increasing religiosity in the political arena, something that was absent not so long ago? And secondly, they would probably like to know, what is this division between the two parties? What does each of these two parties represent? Who does the BNP represent, and what is the Awami League? What's the sort of value systems that they represent in society? Once you've explained that, I think we will open it up.
Okay, to begin, to respond to the first one, and I deliberately left that so that we can talk in some details. See, Jamaat is an issue. Well, Jamaat mainly is an issue because of 71, its role and the way it participated in the genocide. And as you know, there's already a war crime trial. So what the ruling party thought of doing this time is to break the alliance in a way which would benefit Awami League. Now, why that would be the case? Now, why, because questions can easily be raised that you have a war crime trial, but why not of an international standard of the kind that you had in Cambodia or in Rwanda? Why the UN was not involved, etc. That has always been our, kind of criticism. Because we also wanted a war crime trial, but we wanted of an international standard so that nobody would question Bangladesh's war crime trial. But then the ruling party thought differently and thought that, okay, we'll have our rules and regulations of international standard, but then we will not bring the international community in. And that, I think, one of the good reasons would be that they wanted to influence the election, because, as I say, they changed the election system, which they knew it would be very difficult for them to handle. The only way they can handle is by using this Jamaat and 71 kind of thing. Now, what has happened when the alliance, or the tacit alliance that was being argued, that ruling party probably is trying to have a tacit alliance with Jamaat, and when that really did not work, critics were saying that they also started, making some movement towards this Hifazat-e-Islam group. This is the Qawami Madrasa group, which is more conservative, it used to be more conservative even earlier. I just want to give you a very quick understanding of this Qawami Madrasa and Aliyah Madrasa. You see, madrasas are divided into two, Aliyah Madrasa and Qawami Madrasa. Aliyah Madrasa goes back to Warren Hastings, and the first one is the Calcutta Aliyah Madrasa. And they have a syllabus, the Darsi-Nizami syllabus. But this syllabus got reformed, and they are all Aliyah Madrasa schools are registered, they are with the government. The teaching method is Bengali, it's compulsory. They have everything, in fact, science, you have Shakespeare, Tagore, everything is there. Even Churchill, Roosevelt is also taught in Aliyah Madrasa. West Bengal Aliyah Madrasa also has arts, which somehow is not yet in Bangladesh Aliyah Madrasa. The reform that was done, incidentally was done by Shah, President Shah in 1986. So this is what Aliyah Madrasa is all about. But the Qawami Madrasa is a totally different ball game, and there the teaching method, Urdu or Arabic still remains there, and it's there are some. My argument also, not that all are very conservative. There are exceptions to that also, but largely the bulk of them will be very highly conservative, funded also from the Middle East. So you have a serious Hanbali / Wahhabi intrusion from the ground. The Jamaat Islam is also interestingly a Wahhabi outfit. And how will you know that? The easy way to know that is to look at some of the key points. One would be they are very anti-Sufis, anti-Shrine. The Jamaat is absolutely, Jamaat Islam is openly anti-Shrine. Qawami Madrasa not yet, in fact. But lately, in fact, it shows that they were infected by the Wahhabi doctrine because they also became anti-Qadiani. If it's anti-Qadiani, then also you know that it's a Salafi, outfit. This outfit was also anti-Jamaat historically for some reasons. Okay? More because of the literature of Maududi is not something that the Qawmi Madrasa would entertain. Now, ruling party, I think it was back in October last year, they started making inroads with this Qawami group and allowed them to float around, to organize themselves. They were not organized at this political, they were never organized. Now, this is an issue I think which did not work to the extent that they thought it would work. I think it went out of hand. And so, at least now it shows out of hand, we don't know, because everything in politics there is no last say until the election takes place and all. So one idea was that if we can have a second Islamic group, and not only Jamaat, then we can divide the Islamic votes, and all Islam, quote-unquote Islamic vote would not go to BNP. Now whether that would work or not is very difficult to say, because BNP, sensing this from the day one, quickly aligned with this Hafaz group. They understood that this was trying to break their alliance with Jamaat. So, and Jamaat also kept quiet. So people started saying, well, this is a B group of Jamaat. So that becomes complicated. How can it be B? Because they were openly against Jamaat also. So this is a time, in fact, where it's the old, Osama syndrome. You try to use a group, but then the group has its own, mind and does things differently. Or the Prabhakaran syndrome. You think that you can use Prabhakaran, but then Prabhakaran has its own kind of interest to change. So this is the old, Osama syndrome or Prabhakaran syndrome that we know throughout in history as well. So here also, I think this very idea of using the Hafaz Islam did not work, and we are at a stage we need to see whether that would go very far or not. But there's no doubt about it that both the groups, whether the Jamaat and Hafaz Islam, both have been infected by the Salafi or the Salafization, if we can say, and it would become a serious issue because there's no counter discourse. There's no counter with a Sufi discourse or a Hanafi discourse. There's no counter discourse to this big Islamic demand. And there's a serious decline, as I was mentioning, in Islamic scholarship. And this is throughout South Asia, not only Bangladesh. A serious decline in the Islamic scholarship. People have forgotten what the Sufi discourse is all about and what the Hanafi discourse is.
So this would be different from the Maulana Qadri movement in Pakistan, which would be more Sufi oriented. Would that be it?
Partly, but don't forget that the Sufis also got infected by this hierarchies and the rigidities, if you can put it.
Okay, questions.